Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the second episode of the Dark Souls 3 playthrough. And following the events of the previous episode, we have just defeated... We have just defeated the first actual boss of Dark Souls 3, that being Vort of the Boreal Valley, the Vile Watchdog. Quite a demeaning title. But, nonetheless, he has relinquished upon us a veritable cornucopia of souls, and due to the fact that we are no longer beholden to meeting any of the things his soul may offer us later on in the game for this playthrough, we will simply spend all of our points. We will need a few more in dexterity in order to wield some weapon arts here. Stance, quite a versatile weapon art. What don't we need here? Well, we really don't need any of this. We're only going to be using our weapon. The Knight Shield is far superior to the others. We have 2 pairs of pants, which we definitely do not need. And so, we will travel back to the Boreal Valley on fire and commence with the initiation of the second area beyond the starting tutorial area, surrounding Firelit Shrine. We may just return to the pre-boss area in the near future, as there is one thing of note that we have missed, as our character is assailed by these terrifying, blind, winged beasts. Demons, I would assume. These are present in the first game as well. Quite a terrifying visage. But they pose no threat to us. Here, at least. Now, we have arrived at the second area. The Undead Settlement. We set our spawn. Now, I have been playing a decent amount of another kind of similar game. I wouldn't say they're similar in that this game or that game, which I am about to announce the title of, are knockoffs or clones of one another, but I have been playing a relatively similar game on the computer that is known as Monster Hunter World. Now, the only real similarity between that and this is somewhat of the combat, wherein the timing of attacks. This NPC, Yol of Ondor, is acquired freely, and unfortunately, he can be used to gain 5 free levels without any souls, but this is at the cost of the beauty of your character. So, we will not be exploring that route of the story just yet. Oh, maybe we will. The deadline for using his ability, really, is before the boss fight, which we are so interested in. The first Lord of Cinder encountered, encountered on a normal run, that being the Abyss Watchers. We can summon some help here. I don't trust that. Here we go. Let's summon a clone of ourselves. That should be helpful, right? more the merrier. Let's see if we can speed run this area. The warrior of sunlight, Cork. And we will give him a bow. He will give us a wave. Very nice. I don't normally summon, but at least for the he seems to be heavy rolling. These Bethrall little demons. Very unfun to deal with. Not impossible. But yes. We have dealt with them. And they dropped their thrallhood. As we would call it, the Fighter PL mask. If any of you are interested in some quality PvP content of this game, then I would dare say that Fighter PL, as well as Chase the Bro, and a few other YouTubers in that circle, are more than worthy of your attention, as my PvP skills are, to say the least, lacking. To be outright lying, to be saying upstanding. But I have PvP'd before. It's not completely unfamiliar territory to me. But, oh, Cork, my dear friend. Don't get yourself killed. Not on my account. I would never. I suppose we'll heal and garnish an evangelist hat from that evangelist enemy. And it seems he's more interested in killing everything that comes into sight than speedrunning the level. He may, which as is usually the case with these early area summons, relatively inexperienced, to say the least. So we will attempt to guide him through the level, but it doesn't seem he wants to stay with us. So we will have a hard time doing that. And at least he is trying. He almost has no health. He's using Claymore one-handed, which is an interesting technique when not wielding anything in the opposite hand. It's quite unsettling, to say the least. His connection doesn't seem to be bad, which is a nice change of pace from some of the folks I've been subjected to play. He hasn't died yet either, which is more of an inconvenience than anything. But we will not condemn him so quickly. And we will continue on, hopefully with him in tow. And we will gain another NPC. Unfortunately, we can't hit that with anything we have equipped currently. So I will have to show off my superb bombing skills and knock down the partisan. A decent spear, very short, but with a fantastic weapon art. And I think he's using the one-handed claymore for its wide-sweeping attacks.
I hear him.
This is Cornix, Pyromancer of the Great Swamp. He is your standard Pyromancy Tome NPC, who you will give tomes to. Good work. And in terms of early game items, this hollow right here is hanging over the Fire Clutch Ring. This will greatly increase the damage of any fire weapon you hold, including pyromancy magic, which is very powerful as it is, but that item in particular will yield fantastic results. We'll summon Lieutenant Aldo Rain, who seems to be making an Inglorious Bastards reference. Down there is just a little soul item, a little hidden area I found by accident by falling down once. We don't have... That is a shortcut to the next boss room. We will make sure Mr. Rain knows where we are, and we will lead him with us as we come to an unscripted... Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. Don't go fight those things, please. And fight this guy. Oh, he's got a katana. Very good. Alright, let's go this way. Gentlemen. Now that we have two phantoms, we should be ripe for an invasion. But I highly doubt there's a phantom kind of waiting. There's a red phantom, I should say, waiting. As we acquire the Blood Bite Ring. Very lightweight ring that simply increases the threshold needed to cause the bleeding effect. Not all that common, but it is a very light ring, and we will not discourage its usage, I should say. And we are running through this area quite quickly, which I will apologize about. But now we are being invaded by the mad, dark spirit, Holy Knight Hodrick, who is a scripted NPC invader, who will invade so long as you enter this area with the Ember activated. It seems Cork has already been killed. My assumptions about his level of experience were seemingly entirely correct. I have no idea where Hodrick has gone off to. Draco. We will summon Draco. Now, I don't know where Hodrick went. I honestly have no idea. Did you kill him? I suppose he killed him. We did not get the vertebrae shackle that you're supposed to get from him. But it seems this gentleman is of the assassin class. He is instantly leaving. I suppose he's waiting for a friend. But me and Mr. Lieutenant Aldo Rain will attempt, and likely fail due to our lack of Estus, to beat the second major official boss in this game. That being the curse-rotted Great Wood. Just run, Aldo, run! Run, Aldo, run! Aldo, come up here, please. Thank you. Thank you, my good friend. Follow me. Oh, and it seems... Well, we didn't die. Which is quite fortunate. are not dead yet. We will come into here. You stop blocking me, good sir. Very good, Aldo. Very good. I'm surprised we haven't gotten any Estus back. But we will open the doors to the boss battle room. And though I would like to see this through... Oh, well... Maybe if we summon another phantom. My cat has entered the room. Hello, booby. Oh, it seems we have been invaded. Oh lord, he has high-level items. I really hope he's not. He has later DLC weapons, it seems. And the Cestus. I don't want to hit him, but... I don't know what he's doing. I would like to 1v1 him. Oh yes. He is most definitely... Oh, my cat is on my desk. Oh, good spacing. And my cat is in front of my microphone. Oh. Oh, yes. Twinking without a doubt. Obviously. Excuse me, Joseph. Excuse me, my dear friends, while I pet my cat so that he may leave me in peace. Alright, and we're back. Apologies, folks. My cat is, well, he's quite friendly. Especially with me. I spend a lot of time with him. My favorite little kitty kit. But yes, we have returned to Firelink Shrine with our souls by some small miracle. And I did a very, very sneaky thing. Now, if you die with a lot of souls on you, and you equip the Ring of Sacrifice that we picked up in the very first in the second, past the second bonfire in the High Wall of Lothric, should you pick that up and equip it once you have died and lost a lot of souls, if you die a second time, you will not lose any of those souls, or rather, you will not lose the ability to go pick them up. The green aura focused on where you last perished will still be there, regardless of the fact that you have died a second time. Now, you can wear it when you have a lot of souls and you don't want to die with all of them on you, but I would recommend using it after you've died on your run back, as you still have a chance to survive and not use the Ring of Sacrifice, which I would think would be ideal. Now for this boss, these little egg-like protrusions on its head, on its limbs, those are the only spots you will be able to damage. And in the first stage, most of them are covered already, so you will have to suffer through. But the one on his hand and the one on as I know all the weak spots on the boss, I now have the rather significant advantage of being able to target them early on with little to no difficulty. Now we're going to do this likely for the rest of the game, wherein the boss will spew out this acidic liquid which will slowly eat away at your health pool without really accomplishing anything of note. It's not very damaging, but it is aggravating nonetheless, as it cannot be blocked. And if you just need a little bit of extra damage, you can always target bury you. We do have the covetous silver serpent ring. And yes, it does seem we have killed Holy Knight Hodrick. It is unfortunate, as we did not receive the vertebrae shackle, I am to be sure. Yes, we did not receive the item you normally get for killing that NPC, which is unfortunate, as I would like to have traded it with another certain NPC for a unique cosmetic or armor piece. Now, we got two things at the conclusion of that boss fight. One of them being the transposing kill.
I am Ludleth of Corland. Look not in bewilderment, as if substantiation be thy want. Set thine eyes upon my charred corpse. This sad cadaver. No need to be called. Have a closer look.
This fellow, Ludleth of Corland, is the key.
Seen better days, but methinks it shall suffice. Now, bring to me a twisted soul. Transposition is the art of extracting and coalescing the essence of a soul. In transposing a twisted soul, its true power transferred to thee. Thy purpose is to seek lords and slay them. What's to fear in a little transposition now?
Now you can acquire weapons by killing bosses, and so long as you do not consume their souls, as we have with the Vort's Soul. With Vort's Soul you can either acquire Vort's Great Hammer, which is a good, decent starting strength weapon, but it is outmatched by some you can farm in early game areas, including the Great Axe. And Pontiff's Left Eye, which allows you to recover HP with quick successive attacks, which, although not entirely useless, is nearly useless. And as we are not going for a strength build in this game, we will not be needing Vort's Great Hammer. That is why I consumed his soul. Now, as for these weapons, Arster's Spear and the Hollowslayer Greatsword, which are the weapons you can acquire with the soul of the Rotted Greatwood, Curse Rotted Greatwood to be more precise. We do not need either of those either, so we will eat this soul. Consume it for the nutrients it lendeth us.
Very well, then take them.
And we will jack up our dexterity to 20, which is, I believe, the minimum for the weapon we are going after. We will now go to the blacksmith. I don't think we have enough to upgrade our... Oh, we do. I don't think we have enough money, or souls rather, to upgrade. Yes, we need 636, but luckily we do have a veritable cornucopia of other souls. Now, we will reinforce our claymore to +2, which is quite good. And we will reinforce our Estus flask with the item we found directly in front of the large evangelist enemy by that flaming tree. Now, we did pick up the cestus. This, at least in my opinion, is the best side weapon in the game. It is a fist weapon, so it is quick. You could deal a few points of damage to a very low health enemy, and it is a very fast parry tool, which is what it is mostly used for. You can infuse it with some of the passive benefit gems, such as simple or holy, I believe, which will either grant you FP or health regen respectively. Now, we have finished this boss battle. Unfortunately, that means we're going to need to do something immediately, which we would rather have done previously. And that is give Greyrat Loretta's Bone, which is that item we found up on the rafters in the very first area of the Undead Settlements.
I'm not surprised, though. Almost a relief, really. You can keep the ring as, well, a little trinket of thanks, I suppose.
Now, that ring he speaks of is the blue tearstone ring which he gave us earlier, which we are currently wearing for no other reason than we have it and we have the weight capacity for it. But this ring was meant for Loretta, of whose bone we returned to him. Now, we will do a very quick little trick I like to do. Yes, the name of this character is Dark Observer. I wasn't feeling particularly creative, and I didn't feel like naming it Irish Kaiser Dark Souls 3 Let's Play, as the character limit would likely prevent that. Now, by quitting out and reloading the entire game instance, you can speed up the process of triggering this quest for Greyrat. As you can see, he has changed posture.
Heavens, she was already dead.
And you will get the gesture curl up, which is quite popular with regards to PvP, actually, as it does make your it does make your character quite small, and people use it to hide in corners and such.
Heavens.
But he has that singular line of dialogue, and should you quit out one more time, we will continue. Now, he will have different dialogue.
Ah, there you are. I was thinking. You know I'm a petty thief. Well, perhaps I'll go on the prowl. Everyone's dead or hollowed away anyway, right? So I might as well fetch some weapons or treasure for you. Well, what do you say?
And if you choose to send him,
you will not be disappointed. Greyrat the Thief was once a well-known name. Until I ended up rotting in a cell. Goodbye. I will leave for some time. So long for now. Do stay safe, you hear? Or my efforts will have been for naught.
and he wishes us well, And we will reload the game instance one final time. I do apologize for this excessive loading and unloading of the game. But this is the fastest way to make the specific actions we need to happen. This is the most consistent way and the fastest. So now, as you can see, he is vacated. He's gone. Over here, over at the end of that hallway, is that really ugly pilgrim we picked up named Yol, who we will use all in one instance far from now. This...
Another one roused from the sleep of death. Well, you're not alone. We unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions. But we're talking true. Don't you think?
This fellow, well, I can't remember his name, is kind of the depressed, kind of morbid fellow. He doesn't really lend much to the story for now, but he is a palpable character much, much later in the game. As we are only on the second area, we're not quite there yet, ladies and germs. Now, I'm going to show you the entrance to the next area, as we have defeated the area boss. Killing these don't give you any souls, so don't bother. I see far too many. Wow, how did that miss? These... If you're good at timing backstabs, these are never an issue. But if you're not, they do a lot of damage. And they're not all that fun to fight. As we acquire the 4-pronged plow. Very simple, quality weapon. It's a spear, but it's a pitchfork. And they call it the 4-pronged plow, but it actually has 5 prongs. Because, go figure. This is Dark Souls. And nothing is really meant to make sense. So we will lead this fellow on a merry chase. Seems to have forgotten where we are. We must dodge those. It's always better if you can get them off the cliff. Ooh, as he manages to land a hit. He's challenging the player for the heavyweight title championship of the Undead Settlement. Ladies and gentlemen, will he make it? Ooh, he lands another solid hit. Wow, and he stuns him. But unfortunately, his low health pool and inability to dodge is his undoing. But, with that minor bout of total insanity foregone, we will move on to the church. There is an NPC there. He will call you a fool, and likely ridicule your poor decision-making skills.
Another one of those unkindled, are you? All you faceless undead, behaving as if you deserve respect. No matter. Heed my words. If you've any sense, you'll go find a coffin to huddle up inside. You here, in this land of hollows. You're like a frail maiden on the front lines. If, like the others, you're fool enough to play the champion, then go on ahead. Traipse right past the abandoned church. You'll face death. And it won't be pretty. Enough death to leave you broken. Time after time.
I do not fear death. for death rejects me, as your parents rejected you, Aegon of Karim. That NPC is relatively useless beyond a singular boss fight, which we may or may not summon him for.
Oh. Pardon me, I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegwart of Katarina. To be honest, I'm in a bit of a pickle. Have you ever walked near a white birch only to be struck by a great arrow? Well, if I'm not mistaken, they come from this tower. Whoever it is, I'm sure I can talk some sense into them. But I have to find a way up, and that's just the trouble. This lift only goes down, you see, and... Well, that doesn't get me anywhere.
This is Siegward of Katarina, a recurring NPC who is both comedic relief as well as just a kind fellow. Always absorbed in deep thought, constantly wishing to better himself for both his unbeknownst cause and, I suppose, to help better defend the realm. This is another boss, which I would highly, highly recommend simply running past, opening this door, staring into the back of your helmet, and lighting this bonfire. This is the Road of Sacrifices, the next area, which we will be hopefully working through in the upcoming episode. Ooh. Oh, and he manages to get us. And we're crushed. Oh, God almighty. I don't know the last time I lost to that boss. It's not really a boss, it's more of a mini-boss, an area guard, but it's all the more frustrating from the fact that it's really not that difficult to beat. It's just unpredictable attack patterns. Really have to get off that sneak attack. And this will grant you the Irithil Straight Sword, the weapon of noobs everywhere. Because you know what? It looks super cool. And who doesn't want a super cool straight sword? And you can hit R1. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times with a basic stamina bar. Who doesn't want that? No, but seriously. It is a decent weapon with very poor scaling, I believe. Yeah, standard D scaling. Upgraded with Twinkling Titanite. I used it on my first playthrough. I fell victim to that. As we all do. I fell victim to the stylistic draw of that weapon. But I found my niche in the strength weapons, the high damage weapons, which I still do love to pieces. But for this playthrough, in order to give you you newcomers to the series, although you are quite late, in order to give you a better idea of the difficulty of this game, I, as someone with 400 plus hours on this game, will be doing something that I am relatively unfamiliar with, and even with my always choose to make peace.
I help any time.
And he will give you a young white branch. You can kill this giant for a ring that will grant you additional range on bows and projectiles and the like, called the Hawk Ring. Do not kill that giant for the Hawk Ring unless you are a min-maxing piece of tar You have no morality whatsoever. But do you drop down on here, you will be facing out towards the Undead Settlement. But when you come out, you will come upon our good friend Sigurd.
Ah, oh, don't disappear like that. You had me downright worried. But thanks to you, an epiphany has struck me square in the head. I've unraveled the riddle of this inscrutable lift. On some days I begin to doubt myself. I went up the tower, so I thought, then somehow ended up here. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Anyhow, do you see that? That humongous beast? I'm no coward and I've a steady hand, but that thing makes my skin crawl. How now? Think twice before you go down that road. I could try talking some sense into him. No, I think not. He's far too overheated. I've got to use my head and think.
Lovely. Lovely you are, Sigurd. Pondering the preposterous, problematic presence of this flaming demon holding a great axe.
No! You should have waited. Well, it's too late now. I, Sigurd of the Knights of Katarina, right by your side.
If you are hit by that attack, you will die instantly. Good job, Sigurd. Good job. I couldn't have done it without you.
That was quite a performance. But you mustn't get in over your head. We unkindled must put our duties first. But, for the moment, we've a toast to make. To your valor, my sword, and our victory together. Long may the sun shine.
Agreed. Of course.
Well, I'm going to have myself a little nap. The only thing to do, really, after a nice toast.
Talking to him all the way through his dialogue will grant you this sleep emote. Or taunt, or whatever you like to call it. Now, over in this initial open area, you will find the large club. A not really worth it early game strength weapon, with only C scaling in strength, and very, very poor moveset. There is a far superior strength weapon, not much further down the pipe. You will also find a Pale Tongue, one of the Covenant items for a later area in the game. And you will find the starting armor set for the warrior, I believe it is, the strength built character, which is the northern armor set. Now we will drink up our Estus. And I do know there were a veritable plethora of items over by where we were running into this second official boss fight. But if you run in here and simply run out, those two caged, I don't know what you'd call them, conjoined hollows maybe? hate dogs. Hate dogs. Not in real life. I hate dogs in Dark Souls 3. They teleport. They're inflexible to hit. But if you do pick that up, you will. These enemies are particularly weak to piercing attacks. So if you have a sword with a poke or a spear of some sort, then you will likely have no trouble. You will likely have no problem dealing with them. Now those evangelists are quite annoying to get rid of. This is Flynn's Ring, which will grant you a small attack rating bonus for lowering your equip load. And if you jump down here and jump right here onto the balcony, you can run over here and grab yourselves a few homeward bones. But inside this door, there is nothing on this platform here. You want to sprint and then jump to get down here. And then you can jump down once more and not perish from fall damage. And you will get not only the mirror, 3/4 of the mirror armor set, you will also get one of the best rings in the game, the Chloranthy ring, which increases your stamina regeneration rate. Just a very simple, always consistent, always useful buff that will never really let you down. Now we will use one of these good old homeward bones to let ourselves into Firelink Shrine so we may level up, shall I say, so bluntly, to 18 and 20, which I believe are the necessary minimum stats for the weapon we are going to be using.
Farewell, Ashley.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you all good night. I have been the Irish Kaiser, and I hope to see you again in the next episode.